Hello everyone, my name is AJ Kuftik and I'm Principal Technologist with Expedient. I want to thank the Arizona Tech Council for having me and the rest of us at Expedient here today. We're proud to sponsor today's event. Today we're going to talk about what is cloud native. For those of you who are new to Expedient, we were founded in 2001. We started as a co-location company, moved into managed services, and are now in cloud. We have cloud locations in US East, Central, and West. Our West region just opened in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona at the end of 2019. We have international cloud deployments on customer sites in Australia, Germany, and Canada. So if our cloud locations don't work, we can bring that cloud to you. That applies domestically as well. We're a VMware cloud provider and have been since 2007. We have 45,000 virtual machines on our platform, and we're a Rancher Platinum partner. So when we start to talk about cloud native, we kind of have to talk about what I call the application triangle. And this is the three groups that generally have some sort of input to applications and how technology is provided to the business. The first is our infrastructure people. And our infrastructure people are the people who have been building the platform that all of the applications live on top of. And when they hear cloud native, they see the next level. The next level is based on what they've seen for the last 20 to 25 years, right? They went from mainframe to physical servers to virtual servers, and now they're looking at cloud and cloud native. And so for them, they see this as the next evolution of their processes. At the same time, though, what they want is security and control. And the reason they want security and control is because as infrastructure, they've been the audit point for IT for the better part of 2 decades now. Anytime somebody needs access, doesn't need access, when auditors come in and ask why people have access, the infrastructure team has been the people who have to answer those questions. And cloud native is no different. So for them, they're focused entirely on how do I make sure that we don't let this get out of hand. At the top, we have the business. And our business people are quite literally that. They are the people who consume these applications. They're the whole reason why all of this technology is being deployed. But what they want is agility and speed to market. They want to be able to move faster. And the whole reason they want to move faster is so that they can keep up with the rest of their peers, right? They go to conferences just like this one, right? We're here at the Arizona Tech Council. And they go to their things, like the healthcare industry has HIMSS, the retail and manufacturing sectors, they have their own conferences. And when they're there, they're hearing very similar stories. This is how cloud is going to help us move forward. This is how we solved our business problems with cloud. They think the cloud is the way to do this. They don't know that. They don't know exactly what it is that they want because, well, to be entirely honest, they don't know what cloud is. And so we as technologists have to help them. And finally, we have our developers. And our developers they've heard you, right? They are trying their best. And they've heard you. They've heard that they say, our applications just don't work anymore. They don't scale. They're not keeping up with the business. And they know this because they're the ones who've had to put in every bug fix, every feature request, every little wiggly change that is inside of those applications. They've had to put them there. And in the process of having to put them there, they've had to band-aid over other problems. And they've seen all of the structural issues. They know every crack in corner and everything that's broken inside of that application. And they want to fix it. The problem is that the business is up top saying, no, you can't rewrite this. You have to keep this going. We can't stop everything to rewrite the application. We have to keep going. And so what the developers see with cloud is they see the future. They see the ability and the opportunity to redo what they have, to rewrite what they have, to refactor what they have. And so when they're trying to do this, they want to modernize their applications, but they want to do it with freedom. They want the ability to have the say in how the application gets deployed and what it's supposed to look like and what the configuration of it is versus asking for an operating system that's pre-configured from the infrastructure team and hoping for the best. So, what sits in the middle here? What is that? What is the actual function that we could use here? And that's where cloud native kind of comes into play. The problem is that cloud native has a lot of choices. And I mean a lot of choices. If you look at this map, this is the Cloud Native Computing Foundation's landscape. You can go to it, landscape.cncf.io at the bottom, and you can poke around all these various logos yourself. But each one of these little boxes has a number of smaller boxes inside of it. And those are open source projects or commercial products that are meant to serve the need of that function. And that function goes into the bigger cloud native platform. And so the problem is there's no one right way to do it. There's no A plus B plus C plus D is guaranteed to be good every single time. There's a lot of really good choices. There's a lot of choices you can make inside of here that will go well together. But there's a reason why the entire industry, from VMware to Red Hat to IBM to everyone else, are trying to put together cloud native platforms that encompass as many of these overall functions as they can, because they recognize just how many choices there are to make. The difference, though, is that there's many challenging ways. You can go out and choose, investigate, educate yourself, research all of these, and choose a number of these little functions to try and put it all together. But you're going to run into challenges. Do they integrate well together? That's hard to say based on your choices. And finally, you have to choose whether you want to do this all yourself or choose a platform, right? Do you want to use a cloud-based platform like Amazon, Azure, GCPs, any of their cloud-native platforms, or do you want to go try and build this all yourself to have maximum level control? And so when we were looking at this at Expedient, we kind of took a step back and we were looking at it more of stateless versus stateful. We've been in the cloud business we've been in business for 2 decades now. And when we've been in business, we've been building servers and co-location and virtual machines. And we've seen the traditional infrastructure is very, very stateful. I deploy this application lives on this server, the server lives on the storage and this network. It's in my backups, it's in my DR plan. And if I need to fix anything, I may need to recover the whole thing together in order to get my application back up and running. Cloud native infrastructure is stateless. It is meant to be destroyed and redeployed. It's meant to be able to be picked apart and have 2 different versions running at the same time so that I can do blue-green deployments and get the benefits and the flexibility of that. And this calls back to the original cloud conversation, the original cloud analogy of pets versus cattle. I have Rocco. Rocco is a very good boy. He's very stateful, right? We got him. He is a puppy. Now he's a dog. And he is that dog forever. Versus the cattle on the bottom, which may not have names, but numbers. And so for us as people, we want to try and make sure that we have everything understood from a pets versus cattle standpoint. And when we as Expedient were looking at this, we said, how can we put the two together? How can we combine these two? Because what we see is that cloud native ends up being the gray area. We have our developers on the left, we have our infrastructure team on the right. And for a very long time, developers asked infrastructure for resources, infrastructure provided resources to developers, and never the two really crossed. But now with cloud native, there's a very gray area in the middle there. Developers are able to, by their code, establish their infrastructure. And so from an infrastructure standpoint, they're seeing a lot more code going back. How do I provide code-based resources? How do I provide APIs to my developers to make it easier for them? And that's where cloud native kind of starts to blur those lines. And so when we were building our cloud native platform, that's where we started. With Rancher, we're able to have a full Kubernetes management platform. And with Portworx, I have the ability to provide persistent storage to that. That gives me the ability to have stateful data next to my stateful applications. And by doing that, I'm able to do all of the quick updates, the blue-green deployments, without nuking all of my data on the back end every time I do an upgrade. And with Elastic, we're able to provide all of the logging and all the data visualization along with that. So that as I'm deploying my containers and as I'm deploying my applications, even before the application even starts, I have logging at the container level. And all of this runs on top of our enterprise cloud. So all of this runs right next to our virtual machines. And we have 45,000 of them, so we've been able to deploy things at scale for over a decade now. And so when we put all of this together, we have our Rancher environment with Portworx, with Elasticsearch, and now Enterprise Cloud all together so that you can have your applications, whether they're your current applications or your next generation applications, all together, and get all of the flexibility and all of the scalability of a cloud that's been powering VMs for over a decade. So when we look at the cloud journey, we look at this actually in 3 different sets. It's not so much phases, but sets. We have our physical assets. And our physical assets are the things that we've had forever. These are legacy applications, because just because you went cloud native doesn't necessarily mean that you shut down your legacy applications tomorrow. And so I have my physical hardware, mainframe, AIX, HPUX. I can bring all of those into our data centers. And I can sit them right next to our enterprise cloud. Our enterprise cloud hosts all of those virtual machines. They can host your virtual machines. So you can bring your VMs, your applications to a cloud, get the cloud operating model without the egress fees, without the refactoring. You can just move forward. And now that you've been able to remove that infrastructure burden, you're able to move forward on a cloud native platform that provides stateless applications with stateful data services and provide next generation applications for your business. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, aj.kuftick@expedient.com, or join us in the Expedient booth. We'll be here all day, and we look forward to seeing you.